Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Detroit Lions. We have camp opening up relatively soon. We're kind of in the dead period of the NFL offseason right now, but nonetheless, the hype for the Detroit Lions, it's only rising. And it's extremely real. This is a squad that finished 9-8. They were so close to making the playoffs, which is crazy considering they started the season 1-6. They had a top 5 offense. They had a bottom 5 defense, but a lot of new faces, a lot of young existing talent already on the team. Because camp is just a couple of weeks away, I want to talk about possible camp battles and just how I see this Detroit Lions offense panning out for this upcoming season. Now, before we get any further into tonight's video, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit the like button, hit that sub button if you do like daily Lions content, daily NFL content. Let's try and get this video to 250 likes. So it begins with the running back room. All right, you have David Montgomery, a new face coming on over from the Chicago Bears. This is a running back who's never had a season below 800 rushing yards. All right, 801 total rushing yards last year with the Chicago Bears, and also used a first-round selection on running back Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is as legit as they come. He had almost 1,000 rushing yards last year at Alabama. He averaged 6.1 yards per carry, and he also had almost 500 receiving yards. So that's great 1-2 punch duo. It's completely different than last year in the sense of it's just two new names. You had Jamal Williams last year, who had 17 rushing touchdowns, which is just crazy. I think David Montgomery is going to fill Jamal Adams' role. Then you had DeAndre Swift, 542 rushing yards last year, 5.5 yards per carry. That's where I see Jahmyr Gibbs coming on in. Also, keep in mind, Jahmyr Gibbs can catch the ball, and don't forget, David Montgomery can catch the ball as well. But considering it's a young rookie running back and you signed David Montgomery, I'm going to imagine David is the guy who's going to, first down back, second down back, the guy who's going to get those tough yards. And I view Jahmyr Gibbs as just kind of an X-factor weapon that's only going to improve as the season goes on, and especially as his career goes on. So the Lions running back room was incredible last season. I think they're going to be just as good this upcoming season. And in fact, I love the versatility that they still have at the running back position. Now, a big question mark for the Detroit Lions outside of the running back room is the tight end room. You took an early second-round draft pick on Sam Laporta, but you still have Brock Wright. You still have James Mitchell. You still have a nice room of tight ends. It's going to come down to who's going to be tight end 1. Well, it might start off with Brock Wright because being a tight end, a rookie tight end in the National Football League is very difficult. You have a lot of assignments that you need to learn. We'll touch on that in just a second. But clearly the Lions believe in Brock Wright. He's been with the team for a couple of seasons. He's just a relatively reliable tight end to have on your roster. If he's the day 1 starter or week 1 starter, I don't think that lasts very long, just because I think Sam Laporta is going to be a stud. This is a guy who had last season in just 12 games with Iowa, he had 657 receiving yards. The season before that, he had pretty much the similar year, 670 receiving yards. But when you take a look at Iowa's offense last year, they finished 8-5, but their starting quarterback only had 1,700 yards. So Sam Laporta actually had over 30% of that team's total receiving yards, and he by far led Iowa's offense in receiving yards in general at the tight end position. Now, Iowa's not necessarily known for having this super crazy offense, especially in the passing department, like ever really, but Sam Laporta, he really stood out in that Iowa offense. Now, we got a good quote from Dan Campbell during OTAs, and he said this: besides the quarterback, the tight ends have to know more than anybody else offensively. You've got to know it all. So I think that's why you don't always see rookie tight ends succeed early. Well, it's one of the reasons why we drafted Laporta, because we think he can handle a lot. We think he's got versatility. Physically, he can do a little bit of everything, but mentally, he's also pretty sharp for a rookie. So once again, just to circle back, it might not be day 1, week 1, opening day against the Chiefs, which is going to be freaking awesome, but at least halfway through the season, I think Sam Laporta is going to be the guy, and especially long-term. I mean, that's why you selected him early second round, essentially a late first-round draft pick. The future of Sam Laporta is extremely bright, whether it's this season, the end of the season, or just his career in general with the Detroit Lions. that's one thing you just got to love about this Lions team is they do, like Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, they do such a good job at not only evaluating talent, but evaluating the person. And we saw it with the Detroit Lions current roster, but we really saw it with a lot of these draft picks, particularly the two Iowa boys, Jack Campbell at linebacker in the first round and then Mr. Sam Laporta. Now, one thing to keep an eye out during camps is going to be the wide receiver room. So keep in mind, Jameson Williams is going to miss the first third of the season. I think realistically, even though OTAs, it appeared as if his chemistry with Jared Goff just wasn't really there. There were a couple of drops here and there, some issues with timing. That's all expected because Jameson Williams, after he tore his ACL, he missed almost his entire rookie season and only played like 80 or so snaps. But we saw so much potential. But you already have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's established himself as a star wide receiver 1 in the National Football League. Keep in mind, Jared Goff is also a top 10 quarterback in the league. So, that alone right there is reassuring in its own regard. But the Lions receiving room only improved. And I want to pinpoint Mr. Marvin Jones Jr. because, even though his age, he was 33 years old and his statistics last year, 46 catches, 523 yards, that might not be eye-popping. But what you heard from Doug Peterson, what you heard from Trevor Lawrence, this was their go-to guy. This was their reliable third down. We need a first down. We need a touchdown. We just need a catch. We need some yards. Marvin Jones Jr. was that guy. So Jared Goff, pairing him with Jared Goff, while he's not going to be a 1,000-yard receiver, Marvin Jones Jr. is going to be huge for this team next season. He doesn't necessarily have the same deep play threat like DJ Chark did, who was an unfortunate departure. But that's why you drafted, and that's why you have Jameson Williams. So after 6 games, you're not too worried about that. And once again, Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions as a top 5 offense last season, they didn't really have an issue putting points on the board. So that's going to be something to watch. Marvin Jones Jr. just being that veteran, that mentor, that leader on and off the field for the Detroit Lions, the perfect wide receiver 3 for this young Lions team. You still have Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond. These are 2 just sturdy, solid guys on the Detroit Lions. A couple hundred receiving yards from that 2 pair. But when I look at the receiving room and just the offense in general, I've got Jared Goff. My running back room of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs is extremely talented. My receiving room of Amon-Ra St. Brown and unsuspended Jameson Williams entering essentially his first full season, kind of like year 1.2 for him. And Mr. Veteran, Marvin Jones Jr. And then I look at my tight end room with the probable tight end 1 of Brock Wright and or Sam Laporta. The Lions offense, they only improved, so their defense only improved too. We focused on the offense in tonight's video, but this Lions team is projected to win the NFC North for a good reason. They're extremely legit. And once again, we saw it after they started 1-6. You saw that they were close. It was glimpses. They got consistent. That defense started to figure things out, adjust. These young guys started to adjust to the NFL and the speed. And the Lions ended the season on as high of a note as you possibly could have. They were so close to the playoffs. It's crazy. So that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Lions fans, if you guys want more videos, let me know down below. But let me know what you guys are thinking about this Lions offense down below.